Welcome back to Reads of an Apple. My name is Stacy. And this is Cheese. And we are here to start our vlog for week 19 of 2023. Happy Monday. It is actually Monday. I technically start these on the weekend. However, this past weekend was the Mafia Romance Readathon. So when we talk about books, most of the books I read this weekend were for that, so we're just going to kind of touch base on things. I did do a dedicated reading vlog for the books I read for the Mafia Romance Readathon, so you can check that out up here. I will link it up above. But let's just get kind of into it because there is a lot to go over. So, I started Friday night, and then I ended up finishing on Saturday, The Hunt in Illusion by M.L. Philpott. This is a new to me author. This is a series that is fairy tale retellings in Mafia. This first book is Cinderella, and this is her Fractured Ever After series. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I will leave it at that. I gush about it a lot in my reading vlog. For Gildathon, I applied this for the musical May because we have a theme, or we have an event going on that for the month of May for the creators' love of musicals. So we have a lot of musical based prompts. So I applied this to the Dead Mom song prompt from the musical Beetlejuice, and the prompt is, as you can probably figure out, read a book with dead parents, and our heroine in this book, her mom is dead, so it worked perfectly. For read the season, I had to apply this to holiday number 3, and I used this for the letter H. And then for May Day, I use this for Kukui Nut, which is a book you would take on vacation, and I would. And that's it. So it didn't really work for too much of all the things I have going on, but I at least got it to work for something. So there is that one. Then also, okay, so then I finished that Saturday. So then Sunday, I finished the audiobook that I had started last Thursday. That was Bloodied Hands by Adelaide Forrest. This is the book that is the first in her Belandi Crime Syndicate series. I picked this up via audiobook. It's available on Hoopla. The second book is also available as well right now. I give this book 3.5 stars. And I rant about it in the same vlog. As for the prompts I used this for Gildathon, this also worked for musical May, and I applied this for the song The Pitiful Children from the Be More Chill musical. And the prompt for that is read a book with a morally gray or villainous character, and our hero was definitely villainous, I'd say. He's more than morally gray, he's like morally black. For read the season, this I applied to holiday number 5 for the letter A. And then for May Day, I used this for Purple Orchid, which is a popular book. I wouldn't say this is like popular in the realm of Bookstagram and BookTube, but I would say within Mafia Romance, I have seen this book going around a lot, so I'm going to count it. Okay, so I finished that audiobook for the Mafia Romance Readathon. So then I was still kind of doing some chores on Sunday, and I ended up picking up 2 more audiobooks while I was doing chores. However, I was kind of mentally starting to get over the Mafia, especially when it came to audiobook. So I decided to pick up something else, and I was struggling on what to pick up. So I was looking at the prompts that I had to I'm really close to finishing the Pretty Pretty Princess board game quarterly challenge. So 2 of the prompts I have left of that were for the letter E. So I was going through the books and the authors and this, the series names that start with E, and I came across Emma Hart, and I was like, ding, 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 we have a winner. So I ended up picking up the prequel novella in her Girl Next Door series. And this is the One Night Stand Next Door. This is super short. It's like 50 pages. And this is, if you were around, I think last month or maybe it was the month before, but I binged her Bookworms Guide series, and in it, the second heroine in that series, Holly, has an older sister, Ivy, who is pregnant and gets married to Kai, and this mini series is their book. So this is the prequel novella, and this is their next door neighbors. He lives across the hall from her. They've kind of been crushing on each other, and most of the people that live in this apartment are seniors, and there's a big like 70th party or something going up on the roof, and they're all kind of drinking, and they're kind of both testing and pushing the boundaries a little bit, and then Kai kind of gives up and he pushes his way into her apartment, and he's just like, he makes his move and they sleep together, and then she ends up getting pregnant. Now, we don't actually see her get pregnant in the prequel novella, so this is like the prequel novella is connected to the full-length book, and that's why I call it like a mini-series, because technically the series is the 0.5 novella and then book 1, and that's all that's in this series. What's fun is we meet a lot more of Tori, because Tori is best friends with Ivy. In both of these books, we see her obviously more in the full-length standalone, or the full-length book, but we saw her in passing in the Bookworms Guide series, but she is our heroine in the first book of the next spinoff, which is The Introvert's Guide, and I'm very excited. She has a cat named Genevieve, and I'm even more excited to get to her book. But anyway, back to this. So this is super quick, super steamy. Kai and Ivy can get it for sure. As for prompts I applied this for Musical May, I use this for, that is the wrong one, for Never Enough, which is a song from The Greatest Showman, and that prompt is to check out a book and read it right away. So I read this as soon as I checked it out on Hoopla. These are also available ebook via Kindle, but I picked up the audiobooks on Hoopla. For the Pretty Pretty Princess board game quarterly challenge, I use this for my bonus prompt for the letter E, like we discussed. This also worked for Read the Season Holiday #1, also for the letter E. And then for May Day, I applied this to Plumeria, which is a book with white cover. There's like 3 different color options you can choose, but white was the one that worked for this. So then, while I was still doing chores, I couldn't stop myself, and I immediately picked up the full-length book, The Girl Next Door, and finished it on Sunday. I was having such a blast. I gave both of these 5 stars. I was kind of wishy-washy on Emma Hart when I've picked her up before, and maybe it's because I've read these more recent series via audiobook, or maybe because these are series, like the standalones I've read from her haven't really worked, but the series trilogy and series books I've read from her really are. But I think this specific town is really just kind of hitting me just right. I had to give it 5 stars. It was just so much fun. I couldn't put it down. I couldn't stop listening to it. I ended up picking up more chores than I was expecting to do, because I was super close to finishing the book, and I was like, oh, I'll do another chore. It's fine. I can read my ebook later, you know? So yeah, this is their romance, and this is fake dating, which I kind of already knew there was going to be a fake dating aspect, because in Holly's book, there's a point where she is kind of being forced into this fake dating, or everybody thinks they're dating her hero in her book, and Kai, who is at that point her brother-in-law, kind of makes a joke about how is it that both of you ended up in fake dating situations? And so I thought that was super funny. So I knew there was going to be a fake dating thing here. But so the reason it happens is because when Ivy finds out she's pregnant, Kai is all in. I mean, Kai's been, like I said, he's been crushing on her. He's kind of been half in love with her, and he is all in. He's all in. He he's all in for Ivy, for the baby. He's constantly like, are you okay? Can I get you anything? And she's just like, oh my gosh, you're so annoying. Are you going to ask me this every morning? And he's like, yes, I'm going to ask you if you need me to get you anything any morning. And he constantly is taking her out to eat and helping her figure out like what types of food she's craving. And when she's feeling sleepy, he like sits on the couch and lets her put her head in his lap, and he like rubs her hair to get her to sleep. And I just love them. It was just so much fun. The humor was there, but they're kind of doing a fake dating situation, because it's more like fake dating is kind of what they're talking about, that they're gonna tell their parents and their family members that they have been dating, even though they weren't really. And then when Ivy goes to tell her parents, her mother is like staunch Catholic, and she starts kind of saying things. So then Ivy then just kind of blurts out that they are engaged. So then it becomes fake engagement. And then somehow Kai manages to turn it on the head and mentions to the grandma at a later point that, oh yeah, we got married this morning. We just went to town hall and just eloped. And then it turns into fake marriage. And it just like explodes. And both of them are doing these like knee-jerk things, but they're both so cheeky about it with each other, and they're just all in. And there is a little bit of pushback from Ivy, but more because she doesn't want to feel like she or the child, that Kai feels that either of them are an obligation, and that he's dating her and he wants to be with her because they have this child together. And he, you know, it doesn't last very long. It's more just kind of something in her head, but when she finally brings it up to him, he's just like, I liked you before. Like, why do you think I came to you to try to get you to sleep with me? I was trying to seduce you and make you mine. And and maybe I found so much enjoyment of it because I do get to see them we see them in the later books, because, you know, she's Holly's sister, and in Holly's book we see them give birth to the baby, and they're finding and I can't remember if they buy a house or if they get a new apartment or whatever, but so like we get to see them in the future. And there's a little bit of setup of the Bookworms trilogy, which was kind of fun because I've already read it. But when I tell you I was this close to checking out the Introvert's Guide and picking that up, I was like, I can't go on a binge right now. I can't go on a binge right now, even though I really want to, because I knew I had an ebook to finish. So, there is that. So as for the prompts that I use that for Gildathon Musical May, I use this for a real life happily ever after, which is from one of my favorite musicals, Gallivant. The fact that this only got 2 seasons is utterly gut-wrenching, and I want more, but I know that Timothy Osmondson had a stroke and he's been in a long recovery. But if you haven't seen Gallivant and you enjoy musicals, if you enjoy, who is it? Menken. So Dan Fogelman and Alan Menken. And so like Dan Fogelman is Crazy Stupid Love, Tangled, Cars, Alan Menken, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and lyricist Glenn Slater, Little Mermaid, Tangled. They made this. And it is amazing. I love this series so much, and I'm so sad that it ended with season 2, because the cliffhanger it had with Tad Cooper, if you know, you know. Anyway, so Real Life Happily Ever After was the song, and the prompt for that is a contemporary romance for the Pretty Pretty Princess board game challenge. Once again, I use this for the bonus prompt for the letter E. And then for Read the Season, I applied this to Holiday 1 also for the letter E. So I have officially finished 1 full holiday for Read the Season, which means I have now met level 2, which is Read the Season and 1 holiday. And I'm pretty close to finishing level 3, which is Read 2 holidays. And then level 4 is Extreme, Read all the prompts. So we'll see what happens there. Then after everything, I had started Saturday night and then I finished late Sunday night while I was in bed, Craving in Slumber, which is the second book in ML Philpitt's Fractured Ever After fairy tale retelling Mafia series. I talk about this in my Mafia read-along vlog. I don't know why I just pointed again, because it was already linked before, but go back, see the link. I think they pop up somewhere else too. You can see what videos are linked. I gave this one 4.5 stars. This is a Sleeping Beauty retelling. I thought it was super fun. It's definitely a lot more angstier. It's definitely more of a slow burn. It's like 70-ish% is the full pop. And in the previous one, it was like 30% or something crazy. But as for the reading challenges I was able to use this for Gildathon, for Musical May, I used this for Michael in the Bathroom, which is from the Be More Chill musical, and that is a mental health rep, and our heroine in this struggles with anxiety and panic attacks. And then for Read the Season, I applied this to Holiday number 6 to cover the letter M. So there is that. Then the final bookish news is I did start late last night. I didn't get very far, but then I have been reading it when I got home today. My arc for Grimm and Barrett. I don't really want to say much outside of I love them. I love Clara. I love Henry. I am just so in my feels. I'm 40% through. I don't know. I'm probably not going to finish it tonight, but my goal is to finish it tomorrow so then I can write my full review and have it up the day after release. So it's getting a little close, but with the Mafia romance readathon and everything else going on, and I wanted to finish my reread, and even then I had to cut a couple books out. I know I'm going to cry when it comes to the end. I know I'm going to cry, but I'm just loving them, and I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to gush about it later because this is already a long clip, I feel like. But Clara is just the sunshiniest of all sunshines. And I love her craftiness and her historical romance loving heart. And Henry. So far, he is in the running for my favorite hero of the series. He is all for Clara. He has some piercings that are fun. We've got a virgin hero. I'm not even done with it yet. And all I can say is just thank you, Juliet Cross. Thank you for writing this book, for writing this series, for your amazing, brilliant, beautiful, imaginative mind and will to write these stories down. This book is just giving me everything, and I'm just kind of loving that for the most part, a lot of the books that I've read this weekend have just been absolutely prime. I did have Bloody Hearts, which was 3.5 stars, and then I did have Craving in Slumber, which was 4.5, but everything else I've read is 5 stars, and if I was a person to give 6-star ratings, I'd probably give this book a 6-star rating, but I don't. So I'm just going to have to stick with a very high level 5. And honestly, at this point, it depends on what other paranormal romances I pick up the rest of the year. But I can see this, if not winning my best paranormal romance of 2023, making it pretty far in my final bracket. But I'm going to have to wait and give better comprehensive thoughts once I have finished this book and really been able to sit with how this series and this book ends. So, okay, let's move on. Let's do the quest calendar and then I can get ready to go to bed because it's almost 10:30 now. So if you are new here, I have been doing the quest calendar. This is a tabletop role-playing game-based daily calendar that is created by Sundial Games. I will always have them linked down below. For 2023, the theme is the Voidspark Chronicles. So this is space opera, sci-fi based. So think Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Firefly. I mean, you name it, it's got themes of it in here. And it's super fun. Saturdays and Sundays are combined, but I'm having so much fun with it. This is the second year that I've been doing it, so it's super great, especially because I don't have any current active gaming groups since like a couple years ago. We were doing one over Zoom and then things kind of got away from us, but so I do have the deluxe version that comes with the hero book. I highly recommend it if you get quest calendars. It has a lot of the pre-made characters pre-leveled up for you. So when you level up, you just have to kind of do a couple of changes. It has character sheets. It has your rules. What's new this year is in this landscape format, and for the character sheets that also has removable stickers for like equipment and stuff. You also have your ship character sheet, which is great to keep track of like crew members and upgrades. But here is the character that we have been playing as. Her name is Zarilla Tur. She is Urzin and her class is a mystic, so she's kind of the like Jedi force user type person. And I'm having super fun with her. So let's do a basic breakdown of the calendar and then we will play this weekend's and today's. So here is where we left off last Friday. Here's what a basic sheets look. This one is slightly different because we are at a new city. So this is like a introduction to the city kind of page, but any of the script type font that you see will be the story that I read out. Any of this block style font, usually it's in this box, will be the mechanics of how we're going to play that day. If it's a combat page, there will usually be kind of like an opaque box with either round numbers, monster numbers, and the type of rolls that we'll have to do. So it gives you a brief overview of what the combat is going to be like for that day. So let's just get into it. We are on Nick's station. We are trying to head to an area. We offered passage to a couple scientists, and when we got them to their friend was captured by the Zorian Empire. So we are now kind of on a rescue mission to get Andy back. And then we just found out her son was a stowaway last week, so we've got a +1 on the crew. But let's see. So we are in Nick's station, kind of searching around the area. So, okay, it looks like we've got a job board, which is great because usually we get 3 job options and we can choose to do any or all or none. It's up to us what we want to do, but let's see what it says. You find yourself next to some other life forms at a holographic notice board checking out some job listings. You may take on all of the jobs if you wish. So there are 3 options. One is Reclaim My Shop, which is a dexterity roll. Strange Rock, which is a wisdom roll, and Broken Ship Lock, which is a dexterity roll. I like to try to take on all the jobs we can. You get some fun just world building aspects from these. Plus you get a chance to earn a little bit of money. Not that we need it. We are flush. So let's just see what we got going on here. And I will move my dice closer here. If I can figure out a place to set them. Okay, so first is Reclaim My Shop. A local firearms store's automated turret defense system has gone haywire, and no one can enter the establishment without getting shot at. Sneak into the store to disable the defense system. Yeah, we will do this. We will help them out. So this is a dexterity roll. Reminder, stealthy. We do not have stealthy, but our dexterity is a +4. So I will roll our d20. And that's not really flat. Things are constantly rolling here. So let me shift things slightly here. Of course I'm pushing one thing and like 12 other things are moving, even though it shouldn't be touching all these other things. Okay. That's better. Okay, so that is an 18. Great. So 22. Okay, you enter the store and deftly maneuver from cover to cover as the turrets unload on your position but can't gain a lock. Several quick moves later, you are at the control terminal and shut down the automated defense system. Gain 5 credits. Perfect. And that was if the result was 14 or more, so we are good there. On to job option number 2, strange rock. An old man tells you, I found this old rock back when I was a kid and it always said it was my lucky rock. Things just seem to happen for me. I once lost the rock for a while and my luck had gone too. I've kept it ever since. Most say I'm crazy, but I know the truth. I'm hoping you can tell me what the rock is though. Where did it come from? Interesting. So wisdom roll, reminder, arcane adept. We do have arcane adept, which gives us a +2. And then our wisdom is a +4. So we get a +6 to our roll. Great. And that is 10, so 16. On this one, if the result is 15 or more, upon closer observance, you are able to tell the man that the rock is not actually lucky. The man himself has a rare ability to channel the metaphysical property of desire into small manifestations that influence the world around him. He just uses the rock as a focal point. The man is fascinated at this discovery and pays you 13 credits. Whoa. Although I'm more interested in this magic he has. That's really cool. Okay, our final job. I don't know why this one little piece of hair keeps popping out at me here. Broken ship lock. An alien by the name of Vargo has locked himself out of his ship, and for one reason or another, he doesn't want to go to the authorities for help. Okay. All right, so that's dexterity, reminder, locksmith. Our dexterity is, once again, a +4. We do not have locksmith. And that is an 11, so 15. Okay, so if the result was between 11 and 15, the door and locking mechanism are pretty standard make. You pry off an access panel and get to work disabling the locks. It takes some time, but you get the job done, and Vargo is thrilled that he can enter his ship once again. Gain 5 credits. Now, I could potentially do a reroll if we want to try to get to 16 or more, but I don't think it's worth it to do it just for 1 extra point, so we're just going to take the 5 credits and move on. Now, before we move on to today's page, a new thing that they have added for the weekend pages is what's called the Sunday Lottery. It's this little box here. What it is you have the chance to roll a d6. If you roll a 1 or a 2, you lose a little bit of credits, but if you roll a 3 or higher, you gain a little bit of credits. So I think it's always worth it to go ahead and just try it. And we rolled a 4. So 4 is gain 2 credits. So we get 2 extra credits for fun. So there was Saturdays and Sundays page. I can't remember if I said it, but Saturdays and Sundays are combined in the calendar. So let's see what today Monday's page brought. I'm guessing we're going to move forward in some options here in the city. Oh, never mind. We get to go shopping. Okay, so Vinny's Solar Vault. Ooh, so it looks like we'll have 3 options here of equipment to buy. You pass by an equipment shop with a sign reading unbeatable deals on all solar equipment. You wander inside looking to take advantage of the deal. Each item costs 15 credits. So we've got the solar visor, which is a helmet, equipment helmet, and it gives +1 wisdom and +1 defense. We have the solar belt clips, which is a belt. It gives +1 wisdom and +2 to health. And then the solar energy pack, which is a pack equipment, and it gives +1 to wisdom and +1 to attack. Interesting. Okay, so I typically just get 1 item, but you can get more because we're at it. Usually when we get equipment like this, it's from a treasure chest, and so you can only choose 1. But since we're shopping, it seems like we can buy more if we would like. So let me look at our character here. So, it was a belt, a helmet, and a pack. So I do already have a belt, But I do have pack and helmet both free. So we could buy both of those. Now, I'm leaning more towards the solar energy pack because I feel like it's worth it more to get +1 to attack than +1 to defense, because we only have to worry about taking damage if we don't hit and then do enough damage. So I feel like that's more important than upping our defense. So I am for sure going to take the solar energy pack, which will also give us +1 to wisdom, which is fun. So I will go to the back here and pull out our sticker for our solar energy pack and get that on our character. And this is why I highly recommend the hero book, because then you don't have to cut out things from the pages. You can leave your pages nice and pretty. But I am a collector and a saver of things. So I got that on. Do I want to buy the helmet? I mean, next time we buy equipment, we do have the option of changing out equipment when we buy new equipment. But I think I'm going to hold off. I don't think we really need to buy the helmet right now. Even though the +1 to wisdom will be nice, I'd rather just have that slot open when we get the chance to put something in it. So I'm just going to buy that one thing. So I will purchase that for the 15 credits. And I think that's all I have for you today. And there's no other note. I should mention all of the information. I totally forgot to mention all of the stuff that we need to know to play. The calendar is on the back of the previous day's page. So you can't really spoil yourself, which is nice. So I forgot to mention that earlier. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. We are at half an hour. That is a super long clip, not click. But yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. I hope you have a good Tuesday. Hopefully this week I'll do a little bit better about filming on a more regular basis. But it doesn't really matter to you. You just get 3 really long clips instead of a bunch of short clips. But we'll see. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll stop blabbering. Have a good night. Hello. Long time no see. It is almost a week later. It is Sunday evening. So, we have things to catch up on. So, let's just get into it, because I have surprisingly not that much to talk to you about for the week. But let's do the quest calendar first, because we have days to make up on. So where I last left you on Monday was we were able to visit an armory and picked out a new piece of equipment to buy. So we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we have 4 days to do. All right, so Tuesday. Okay, looks like we're in a bar cantina situation. You enter Brolus's bar and a melting pot and meeting place for all forms of alien life. You notice all of the clientele seem to be enjoying a red liquid out of a martini glass. So 1A is investigate the drink, 1B is ask about the drink, and then 2 also has 2 options. 2A is pay 1 credit to order the red drink, or 2B is order water. So let's see what's going on. All right, there's no other information. So investigating the drink is an intellect roll. Asking about the drink is a charisma roll. I'm going to go with investigate the drink, because that's a little better for us. And we have investigator, and our intellect is a +1. So we get a total of +3 to our roll. Let's roll well here. Natural 20. Thank goodness. Okay, so if the result is 11 or more, the drink is a strong mixture of herbal teas and alcohol with a strong additive chemical added. It can be dangerous when imbibed if your body is not used to its effects. Drinking this particular cocktail seems to be a sort of status symbol in the bar. Gain a +2 if you order the drink 2A below. Okay, so ordering the drink is a constitution roll. Let's do it. Let's do it. We might get something fun out of this. So, it costs 1 credit. But we get a +2. So our constitution is a 1, +1. And we get our +2, so +3. plus 3. That is a 19. Okay. We are feeling this bar, I guess. So 22. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. If your result is 16 or more, the drink is strong and has an even more pungent odor. You drink it down quickly, and some of the locals take note of your iron gut. Gain a +2 bonus to all rolls on the next page. Interesting. And since we're playing catch up, we get to go right to it, so that's fun. Okay, so here is the red drink that we imbibed. Oh, what is happening? Solar flare? Some sort of flare? Oh my gosh. Everyone's attention is immediately drawn to the window as a bright flash of light illuminates the station's viewports. The system star just went supernova? Not where I thought this was gonna go. 1. What do you know about astrophysics and supernovas? 2, and then there's 3 options. 2A is calm the people and guide them to safety. 2B is take charge and direct the people to safety. And 2C is focus on your own safety. Well, I can tell you right now, 2C is not going to be the one we do. But let's do 1 first. Holy cow. Okay, so what do you know about astrophysics and supernovas? Intellect reminder student. And I will remember this time we do have student, because I can't believe I never noticed that before. So that gives us a +2 and our intellect is a +1. So +3 to our roll, 15. So 18 total. Okay. If you're, plus another 2 because of our bonus. How quickly I forgot. But we still needed an 11 or more. If you know that the light you are seeing from the exploding star is the fastest part to travel, you don't have long before the shockwave will hit. Everyone will need to get to the cover of safety immediately or get off the station completely. Gain a +2 bonus to options 2A or 2A or 2B below. Okay, so 2A and 2B have the same results depending on what you roll, so we can just choose between. There's no other story difference. Since we are choosing either of those 2 options, we also gain a virtue point, but we're already at a max of +10. So what are the options? Calming people is charisma survivalist. So we have survivalist, but our charisma is a -2. So those cancel each other out. Take charge and direct the people is strength, reminder, intimidating. We don't have intimidating, and our strength's also a -2. So it's actually better for us to do option A, the charisma route. We've been using charisma so much, I feel like next time we level up, I need to put points in charisma because we've been having to use it a lot. So that basically cancels it out. But then we get the +2 from the previous page and the +2 from option 1 earlier. So we get a net bonus of +4 to what we roll. And that is a 19. Cool. So 23. Okay, if your result is 16 or more, you take up an overlook on top of a crate and begin directing people to where they need to go. You manage to keep everyone calm. Following your instruction, people begin exiting the bar and heading to their homes or their ships. Gain a +2 bonus to all rolls tomorrow. Once again, we get bonuses. Okay. All right, so this is taking a turn where I did not expect us to go, but that's okay. So here we are. Here's the supernova. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was Wednesday. So we have 2 more days. So Thursday. Yeah, Thursday is the continuation of things happening. Outside in the streets of Nick's station, you spot the dried-on moon exploding from the force of the supernova. Now a moon is exploded. Great. Large chunks are sent careening towards the station. The station's force field buckle under the barrage as masses of the moon crash into the city. Okay, alrighty, so avoid the destruction around you. 1 is dexterity, 2 is a strength 1, and 3 is a constitution 1. Okay, so let's see what we got. Avoid the destruction around you. Chaos ensues as moon rocks of all sizes rain down onto the station and bombard the city. People outside get shredded by tiny pebbles traveling at high velocities. Large boulders crush vehicles and people as they flee to safety. These deadly projectiles crash into buildings and rain fire and molten debris down to the streets. Okay, all right, so first off, we have to do a dexterity roll. We do get danger sense, which we do have. So our dex is a 4, danger sense is a +2, so that's 6, plus we get our +2 bonus. So +8 total to what we roll, and that is an 8. So that is 16. Do I want to use our free reroll? Let's see, 16, if the result is between 13 and 16, take 2 points of damage. That's pretty high up, so I'm going to wait, because if we roll worse on some of these other ones, I feel like that's okay. So we can take 2 points of damage. All right, so number 2 is roll strength, reminder, danger sense once again. So once again, strength is a -2, so danger sense crosses that out. So this one we just have a +2. So that is a 17. So 19. If the result is between 17 and 20, take 1 point of damage. Okay. So we've taken 3 points of damage total. This is the most damage we've taken so far. That's crazy. All right. So then the third roll is a constitution with danger sense. So our constitution is a +1. So with danger sense, that's a +3. With our bonus, that's a +5. And that is a 19, so 24. If the result is 21 or more, take no damage. Okay. All right, so we've taken 3 total damage. I'm going to just mark that here. Wow, okay, alrighty. So there was Thursday's page. So we only have 1 more page to do for today. So is it trying to get back to our ship and escaping, or what's okay? Nope. More things are happening in the city. People are fleeing. Oh my gosh, crazy. The city turns to chaos as everyone scrambles in a panic to find shelter. Nick's station can't handle this force. You need to get back to the Karnak and get off the station. You are bound to encounter trouble along your way. Deal with each danger you encounter. Okay. What danger are we going to be? Okay, if you have survivor trauma noted down from an earlier page. We do not. Okay, so we do not. We might have though, but I didn't write it down. If I did, but you know, okay. I didn't write it down. So if we did have it, that's on me, but that's okay. So we will just go on. It looks like there's 4 different things that are going to happen. So number 1, push a child out of the way of falling debris. This is a strength roll. A young alien child stands crying on the sidewalk while hugging their plush animal. A falling metal beam is going to land on and crush him if you don't do something. All right. So once again, our strength is a -2. But that is an 18. Thank goodness. So 16 total. What do we got? Okay, if the result is 15 or more, you save the child and he runs over to his sobbing mother. Gain 2 credits. I mean, are you really going to bother paying me when we're in the middle of escaping for our lives? But okay. On to number 2. Save a woman surrounded by fire. This is a constitution roll. An older alien woman is surrounded by a wall of fire. It will engulf her if you can't get her out. Holy crap, these are like really dangerous, traumatic things that are happening. More than I expected. Okay, Constitution is a +1. And that is a 17. So 18. Okay, this one is also 15 or more. You rush through the fire and carry her out. You are both uninjured. Reduce your health by 1. Gain another 2 credits. Okay, so we're up to 4 damage. All right, on to number 3. Lend medical aid to a fallen man. This is a wisdom roll, so our wisdom is a +4. That is the 13. So 17. A man lies on the ground calling out for help. He can't walk on his leg. If the result is 15 or more, you see his leg is dislocated and reset it into its socket. Then you make a quick but temporary splint that helps him move and limp around for a bit. Gain 4 credits. Okay. Alrighty, so number 4, get out of the way of a speeder. Dexterity roll. As you run down the sidewalk, a cruiser speeds out of control towards you. Great. Okay, so our dexterity is a +4. Alrighty, and that is a 14, so 18. If the result is 15 or more, you jump out of the way. You jump out of the way of the car, and it misses you completely. Okay, well, that was a way to end the week. Running for our lives, and not in a way I expected. That is crazy. So there is that. We do have a med kit, so let me just take a peek and see. A med kit restores 2d4 health. So we have 4 damage. I think I'll wait until we have a little bit more damage to use that, because 2d4, I feel like the average is like 5, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've had to do averages on dice, but I feel like it's 5 or 6. So I'm gonna hold off until we get at least 1 or 2 more points of damage. We're okay anyway because we have 18 total health. So, all right, that's that. As for reading, I grabbed my notes. Okay, so I did finish my Arc of Grim and Barra. I ended up finishing it on Tuesday night, so the day of release. And of course I gave it 5 stars. But this book, it was so great. I loved it. We didn't have to wait too long. I mean, and it didn't take very long for Clara and Henry to say that they loved each other, but let's be honest, they've been falling in love with each other throughout the previous 5 books in the background. And I really loved how perfect Clara and Henry were for each other, and this is something that Juliet, I feel like, does in all of her books, but the way that they both just managed to understand each other without there being any, like, they just accepted each other for who they were, and they were trusting in who they were to each other. Like, there's a moment where Henry's kind of struggling, coming to terms with some things, and he needs some space. And Clara doesn't make a big deal about it. She's just like, okay, I'll give you your space. She doesn't make it like, oh, why aren't you paying attention to me? Why are you ignoring me? She just gives him his space because she knows that's what he needs. And then when he's done coming to terms with what he is, he makes his way back to her after like a day, and it's fine. There's no big issue between them, and I just love that. I love them together. I loved when they first consummate their relationship. I don't want to be too spoilery because it did just come out, but Clara she like starts glowing, and it's called the Soul Halo, I think, and it's just like her soul has so much joy and happiness because it's mated, because she's like consummated her relationship. She's found her soulmate, and it's just like her aura ability is just manifesting itself because of how happy she is. And so she's like glowing, and everyone's like, are you okay? What's wrong? And I'm like, why is glowing seen as a bad thing? Like, everybody's like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And I can understand being like, whoa, what's going on? But why does everybody like, are you okay? Are you hurt? And then they're like checking for a fever, and it's like, she's glowing. Like, I would think, like, unless she was glowing like a weird color, but she's glowing like sunshiny, it seems like. And I just, that I thought was a little weird. I do have one tiny little nitpicky little nits of pics to do. They talk about how there's one point where I think we're in Henry's POV, but this, or maybe we're in Claire's, I don't know, but there's something where they say she crocheted something, and then literally the next sentence is I can picture her sitting there knitting it up. Like, no, she was crocheting, not knitting. She was crocheting. Like you said, it was a crocheted piece. So when she was actually working on it, she was crocheting, not knitting. But it's okay. I'm just, as a mostly crocheter, I am just extremely sensitive when people call it knitting. And I'm like, excuse me, I crochet. I don't knit. So that's on me. But it was just that one little sentence and I was like, no. But it didn't like talk or detract from my enjoyment at all. It was just that one little thing, that one tiny little smidgen. But I feel like for most people, they won't notice it or it won't bother them. And not that it like bothered me. It was just, you know, something that stuck out in my head. And I feel like it was mentioned earlier in one of the other books and something similar happened, but I feel like it wasn't like one sentence after the other previously. It was like on the same page or in the same paragraph or something. But otherwise, it's great. Excuse me. I mean, I don't really want to spoil anything, but I just love them. And even though there was, like, Henry and Claire really kind of knew each other, but they didn't really know each other on a soul deep level. And so I loved that there were still those little things that they could discover about each other. And I just loved how cute it was when they kind of first started dating and Clara was like, yeah, no, we're dating. Like, you're my boyfriend, I'm your girlfriend. And she was just like, she kind of almost had to become the dominant personality of being like, no, we're together. I am your girlfriend. That is what I am. And he's just like, okay. And I just love them to pieces. And, you know, we really kind of dealt a lot with Henry and learning more about Henry's past, and we kind of had some healing situations going on with his father, and his father did kind of make me sad a little bit. I ended up liking his father more than I thought he would, but he went through something traumatic. And I mean, this book had me crying, this book had me laughing. I am obsessed with, even more so obsessed with the triplets. Oh, one thing that isn't kind of spoilery. Oh my gosh. The two guys that we see in Resting Witch Face, Sal and Roland, I think, but they're back in town. Jules and Ruben are still in Europe at this point, and we see that Sal's like recovered, and I was just like, oh yay. And even though he's like a side character, I was just like, oh yay, Sal's all healed up and better. And it's just so cozy to me, and I love Julia and I love her books. And the ending was so, I cried bittersweet tears because it just made me so happy. And I just love these characters and this world so much. But it was also kind of sad because it's over, at least for the Savoys. But it seems like there are some plans in the future for spin-offs or future generations or who knows. But I do think that Juliet's going to be changing pace a little bit or changing kind of subgenres a little bit in the future. So I'm ready for whatever she has next. So there's that. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. Outside of its 5 stars, if you haven't picked up the Savoy, the Sisters, the Stay Spell series, all of them are out now. So read them. Please read them. They are amazing, and I love them to pieces. So as for reading challenges, I applied these to. For Gildathon, this worked for finish a series. So I get my 15 points plus the points of the other books. For the Pretty Pretty Princess board game quarterly challenge, I use this to for the bonus letter or for my bonus word for the letter G. So I only have 2 prompts left to finish that, which is great. For Read the Season, I applied this to holiday number 2, also for the letter G. And then for the May Day is Lay Day in Hawaii, I use this for the butterfly prompt, which is a pretty book. And I love these covers and they're gorgeous. And I'm still waiting for my paperback, but there was issues with Amazon. So I'm going to leave it at that. Now, on Tuesday, before I finished Grim and Barrett, I did pick up an audiobook, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to pick up, so I kind of went back to Emma Hart because I just read her, and I started her Introvert's Guide trilogy, which spun off of the Bookworm's Guide trilogy, which kind of spun off of the Girl Next Door novella and story, which I think I read last weekend. So I think I read it at the beginning of this vlog, but maybe not. I don't know. Time is weird. And then I ended up finishing this. I had like an hour-ish left on the audiobook, so I ended up finishing this on Wednesday. So, this is Tori and Colton. So Tori is Ivy's best friend. She's also good friends with the Bookworms. And then Colton is Kinsley, who is the first heroine in the Bookworm's Guide series. He is the older brother and the best friend of who Kinsley hooks up with. And we see that they've been kind of antagonistic towards each other. In Kinsley's book, we actually see Colton break up with his long-term girlfriend. But since then, a situation happened, and I'm not sure how far in the future we are compared to where the Bookworms trilogy ended, but I feel like it's not too far because Ivy's baby is still a baby. But they have been kind of sleeping together. So friends with benefit situation, although, they were in the same friend group, but I wouldn't say that Tori and Colton were specifically friends because they always have been kind of bickering with each other even before they started hooking up. And so this was them kind of coming to terms. There is a little bit of the speed dating situation, but this is Introvert's Guide to Online Dating. One of the other books is speed dating. But that is a little bit, and that's kind of how we get our angst is, we actually see Colton end up going on a date with someone who he met on an online dating app. And Tori talks about going out with someone, but I don't think she actually does. Or I think she goes on a date after Colton has already gone out on a couple dates with the other lady. But, they're just friends and it's just benefits kind of a situation. But they've both been pining for each other. And finally they get the push to jump all in. I enjoyed this one. I gave it 4.5 stars. It didn't quite knock it out of the park like the previous trilogy did for me. It just felt like I didn't quite get the good flow in their relationship as the previous books, but I still thought it was fun. I love her humor. We get more of the crazy antics from all their grandparents in the senior home. And we do also kind of get to see more about the other 2 people in the book. So one of them is, I can't remember their names. London, who I think she changed her name to London. I think she's the one that is a single mom. And she is actually the sister to Ivy and I just completely spaced her name, and they all have flower names. Holly. So Holly was the second book in the Bookworm's Guide, and then Ivy was the heroine in the Girl Next Door miniseries. So that was a prequel novella and then a full-length standalone. So London is their other sister. I feel like London is either the eldest or she's in the middle, but I can't remember. I know Holly's the youngest, but so she's back in town. She's a single mom. And then I can't remember who the other heroine is, but she starts with a P, and she is, I want to say she's Josh's sister, who is Colton's best friend, who is the hero that ends up getting paired with Kinsley in the first book of the Bookworm's Guide. So if that's not confusing, I feel like I need a character map for you guys. But yeah, it's all situated. They're all friends and extended family and all that kind of stuff. But I'm excited to read theirs. One of them is a bakery owner. I think that's the P person. And then London is the single mom, I think. But don't quote me on it. It's been, like I said, a few days since I finished it. At some point, I'll pick up the other 2 books. It definitely kind of hit what I was needing at the time. However, well, let's stop there. So, for what I applied this to. For Gildathon, I used this for Musical May, for one of the songs, Come Alive, which is from The Greatest Showman, and that is read a comfort book, favorite author, favorite genre, that type of thing. So I use that because I think Emma Hart's books are very comforting, easygoing, funny. The humor works for me, especially these specific universe series. So I applied it to that one, and then for Read the Season, I applied this to holiday number 2 as well for the letter I. So I have officially finished holiday number 2. So I have finished level 3 of Read the Season, because level 1 was just Read the Season, which is spring. Level 2 is spring and 1 holiday. Level 3 is spring and 2 holidays. So, and then Extreme is like all 7 holidays. So we'll see if I'll get that. But that's like to June, not January. June 20th, I think, is when it ends. So we'll see if we get there. But after I finished that, okay, I have technically been reading. I have started quite a few books, and I've read at max a chapter in them, and nothing was just hitting me. And let me tell you, Grim and Barrett gave me the biggest hangover, and I haven't known what I want to read. I kept trying to read a couple of days, and then, so Wednesday night, I spent about an hour cycling through a couple different books. Nothing hit. Thursday, I didn't even try. I was just like, I knew. And I don't want to force myself to read a book if I'm not feeling it, because I don't want to end up not liking a book that I would typically like. So I don't want to make things worse by picking up books when I'm just not in the mood to read, if that makes sense. Friday night, I did try to read a book, and it kind of worked, and then I got distracted and ended up not reading. So there you go. That's all I've read. Yeah, so I'm definitely behind in my reading, and I think I'm going to leave it at that because I have things to talk about what happened this weekend, but technically this vlog is supposed to stop on Friday. I'm just filming it late Sunday, so I'm going to leave you there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry that once again, things are just kind of I'm not doing updates as I should be. Not that it really matters for you outside of you don't get to see me in, I guess, different clothes for a bunch of different clips. But yeah, I think that's it. So if you'd like to leave me a comment down below, let me know what your trick is for book hangover. I don't think I'm slumpy. I just think I'm in a book hangover because I know nothing is going to beat my feelings, and I'm still kind of in my feelings over Grim and Barrett. And I think that's more, I'm definitely more in book hangover mode than like slump mode, I think. So Either way, it just sucks I'm not reading because I like to, it's been so rainy this week and all I've wanted to do is curl up with a book and have a cup of tea and listen to the rain while I read, and I just haven't been in the mood for that. But let me know what your trick is with book hangovers. Or if you'd like to just leave me an emoji, since I just talked about rain, leave me a rainy or a weather emoji. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching once again. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon with another video.